All right, hope you guys enjoyed the S2000 build series. It's pretty much complete. The only thing is it's overheating a tiny bit, so I do need to upgrade my radiator. That should be coming in soon, but in the meantime, we're gonna be focusing on my new 4Runner. I got a 4th gen. I had a 3rd gen 4Runner. You've probably seen it in some of my old videos, that black one. Decided to get rid of that. I needed something with a little bit more towing power, and this one has the 2UZ V8 in it, so should have a bit more power, especially putting 33s on it. But it's bone stock right now. Just been doing a little bit of maintenance work, like spark plugs and flushing the trans fluid and air filter, basic things like that. But I just picked up some really cool new suspension that I'm gonna throw on it. The stock suspension right now has like 250,000 miles on it, super clapped out, rides horribly right now, and the front is actually sagging so much that it's almost like resting on the bump stop. So the spring sag is definitely real on some of these older Toyotas, but we're gonna fix that today and install a 3-inch lift. So we got some parts here from Underdog Offroad in Mesa. I'll provide a link to the kit that I'm actually using, but it's all pre-assembled, so I don't have to mess with spring compressor. But these are the Bilstein 5100s. We got some ARB/OME springs front and rear, and then got the same Bilsteins in the rear. I had the yellow B8 Bilsteins on one of my older trucks, and they're a little bit on the softer side and couldn't really handle like big bumps. These should be a little bit better and a little bit more firm and have more control off-road. I'm also going to be deleting the X-Res system. So if you see right here, all the shocks on these things are linked together through these little brake lines. Essentially, they go to each shock corner. So I got to delete all that, and then I'm also going to be getting rid of the sway bars. But for a 250,000 mile truck, it really wasn't in bad condition. This has always been an Arizona truck, and interior is pretty clean on it. And yeah, I'm pretty excited to get this thing going for my next off-road adventures. Oh, totally forgot. We have the Freedom Off-Road upper control arms. Bushings are already pressed in there. Already got the ball joints, so it should be pretty easy to throw on. The biggest thing when you start to lift a vehicle, especially with independent front suspension, is you'll notice the higher you go, the wheels start to go push towards the back of the car. So this corrects the caster angle, and you won't have drivability issues. It'll drive just like stock, even though you're lifted. So, like I said, this is about a 2.5, 3-inch lift. We'll see how it does. I'm trying to fit 33s on this. Probably need to get rid of or do some trimming in the back here and the rear as well. But we'll see. I'm gonna throw some 285/70 17s on this, so that equates to about a 33-inch tire. Trying to think what else. Oh, I do have a blown up CV boot on this side. I noticed when I was doing the maintenance, so there's grease like literally slung all over the inside of the wheel well, which is nice. But I did run to Toyota to grab this new boot kit, so we're gonna throw that on too. But yeah, I'm pretty excited to see how this thing handles. I had an Old Man Emu kit on my 3rd gen, and I really liked the way it handled off-road. But that kit actually had a lot of miles on it, I'm pretty sure. It's pretty beat up, so it'll be nice to compare that and have a brand new kit with better shocks and see how it does. These are also height adjustable, apparently. So there's these little grooves in here, and they have like a little cert clip that goes on there. So you just sort of compress this spring and then raise it up in the next notch, and then it'll raise the height or lower if you need to. I'm at the lowest setting right now, and apparently with this spring combination, it's gonna give me about 2.5 inch, 3-inch lift. So we'll see how that goes, but I can adjust it as needed. I don't really want to put a lot of preload on these springs, so keeping at the lowest setting is probably best for ride quality and such, but yeah. And I actually did take this thing off-road just to test it out on the basic trail, and the truck would just, you know, wobble just side to side like crazy over like even the smallest bump and not stop. So I'm sure all the shocks are blown, and again, I'm pretty sure it's close to resting on the bump stops there. I don't know if you can see that control arm angle. It's gonna be tough to see down there, but yeah, trust me when I say it. It's I'm actually gonna try to measure the height before and after too. Should be a pretty substantial difference. All right, just for sanity check, this is the front. So from the top of the tire to the fender, we got about 4.5 inches front, and the rear is looking like about 6.5 inches. So we'll see how this lift does and do a little before and after, and it should settle a tiny bit, but we should get close to 3 inches out of it. If I still can't clear the 33s, I'm most likely gonna do like a 1.5 inch body lift on it as well, just to get more fender clearance. These 4th gens have some pretty aggressive fender liners that kind of limit tire options. So you want to get these trucks as high as possible to get the most amount of clearance. Yeah, so as you can see, there's grease slung everywhere on the inside of the wheel. Now if you look over here, we got a big old mess. Outside CV boot is gone. There's just, it's all caked up on this side. Yeah, fun stuff. Well, after further inspection, I think I know why the CV boot blew up. This sway bar end link was just hanging out there, and I think if there's enough articulation, it would have just run itself into the boot and torn the boot into pieces. So that was probably the issue, and I heard a bunch of clunking too, and yeah, there's literally no sway bar end link. Don't know where the nut went. Don't know how it became disconnected, but yeah, we don't need the sway bar anyways where we're going, so we're just gonna disconnect it. Well, things definitely got interesting. I got mostly everything apart here, and I was putting the new boots on the original axle, and it was fighting me the whole time. The clamps weren't the right size, and the boots weren't fitting tight to where it would seal, and I'm pretty sure I don't have the right boot kit. But anyways, we ditched that whole thing after like wasting 3 hours trying to get the boots situated, and I just ended up getting a lifetime warranty O'Reilly's axle. I've had actually pretty good luck with those on my 3rd gen, so figured I'd just get that. But the issue right now is the inner part of that has a circlip inside won't actually come out. I tried pry bars and all kinds of stuff. I might actually try my air impact or my air hammer right here. I don't know, or just prying from both sides, but yeah, a lot of people actually have issues with those being seized inside of the differential. So yeah, that's a lot of fun. So hopefully I can get that axle out, get the new one in, because the rest of the stuff is going super easy. I did start deleting the extras system, which is that cross damper connected system. So this rear wheel is connected to the opposite side front wheel, and there's like brake lines that go to the actual shocks, and then this is like a damper built in. But the entire system was leaking, I'm pretty sure, because there was actually no fluid in there, hydraulic fluid, when I took it apart. So that probably was making it handle not so good either, and the clapped out stock suspension. So got the knuckle off, got the upper control arm off, the original shock. So on this side, at least I'm ready to get the new stuff on. But yeah, definitely very tedious and set me back with that axle issue. All right, this is how high this side sits now with all the new stuff on. Working on this side now. Almost got the shock out. And just this last bolt should drop out of here. So yeah, here's a banjo fitting for that extra setup that I'm deleting off the car. You could see that fluid would go into the shock, and this is actually connected to the right rear, so it's diagonally attached. So all that stuff is going away. And then these upper control arms, the stock ones, are actually just a stamped piece. It's not even, it's like hollow in the middle. So the new control arms are definitely a lot stronger. So let's get the new suspension on. Yeah, trying to get everything lined up at once by yourself was definitely interesting, because you gotta jack up the control arm in the right position to get this bottom bolt in, and then trying to get this in there at the right angle. I had to move that ball joint just a tiny bit to get the slip angle right to slide this guy in, but looking pretty good. This is with the front fully installed. Got the old Cali lean going on here because the front is way higher, but let's see how much we picked up. So we're almost at 9 inches now between the tire and the fender. Looks pretty good in there. I think the hardest part of this job was honestly that axle, which was almost just like maintenance related stuff. That side didn't even take me barely any time, so we're getting there. Okay, we're all installed in the rear. Looking pretty good with the new shock and spring. I did have to push down pretty hard on the axle to get that new spring up in there. It's a lot taller than stock. Not running any sway bars. And then all the extra stuff is deleted. You can see all the lines and mess that went to that, and then the reservoirs. So yeah, a little bit of weight reduction and simplification is always good. Let's see what else. I did notice some of my rear 4-link bushings are bad, so I'm gonna have to replace those at some point. Not gonna really worry about it right now, but curious to see the height difference in the rear now. All right, so this is how it's sitting right now. I got some crazy positive camber on this side only because I lifted it so much. I don't know why the other side isn't like that, but I'm gonna have to keep an eye on it after this test drive. But it's definitely a lot taller. Looks pretty level. So we're gonna see how it rides now. So yeah, I think definitely drives super smooth now. I took it for a test drive off camera. The one of the brake shields was grinding a little bit, but even with deleting the sway bars, it's really not bad at all. It's crazy how stable the truck is. There's like really not much body roll at all. On the 3rd gen, I had the sway bars deleted too, and yeah, just these Bilsteins can handle that body roll and body control a lot better. Really not harsh over bumps, and a lot of people are saying these 5100 shocks are a little bit harsh, but I mean, compared to my shot stock suspension, it's a million times better. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. There's gonna be definitely some off-roading content with this thing once I get the new tires on. I'm going with like a 285/70. It's a 33-inch, so it should fit on this thing now with the lift. So yeah, stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys on the next one.